We have breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ from Churchill Downs, where Kentucky Derby favorite Forte has been scratched on the morning of the race. Now, the decision was made following a workout on Saturday morning. That means the field is now down to 18 horses. Tapit Trice is now the new favorite at 5-1, followed by Angel of Empire at 8-1. He is the fifth horse to be scratched from the first leg of the Triple Crown. Skinner was pulled out after coming down with a fever on Friday morning. 3 were withdrawn on Thursday. This is the first time 5 horses have been scratched from the Derby since 1936. And for more on this, let's bring in Sportsline horse racing analyst Gene Menez joining us here. Gene, first I'll get your reaction. A 5th horse now out of the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You know, in horse racing's biggest day of the year, you don't have the 2-year-old champion, you don't have the morning line favorite. It would be like if Georgia couldn't play in the college football playoff, right? So, but the good news is that they're looking out for the horse, and the last thing that this sport needs is for a horse to go down because of an injury that kind of been circulating around the internet over the week. On Thursday, Forte was just kind of going through a routine gallop, and cameras caught him take just a very minor stumble, just something that you and I, if we were to do on the sidewalk, would be nothing, right? But when you're talking about, you know, a 1,200-pound horse whose legs are as thin as like a hockey stick, that's a pretty significant event. So there was speculation whether or not he was going to stay in the race. Our own horse racing expert, Michelle, you had kind of texted me on Thursday night and into Friday saying, I don't know if this horse looks right. She was watching video of the horse walking. So it was kind of no surprise what happened today, this morning, after Forte went under a routine pre-race examination. The state vet said this horse has got a bruise on his right front hoof and decided to scratch him from the race out of precaution. It's an unfortunate hit on the sport's biggest day.
So what does this do to the field? I mean, not just having Forte out, but now that's 5 horses. So we have 3 replacements that have come in. How does that change the outlook of this field and perhaps how this race is going to be run?
You know, it's not actually going to change how the race is run, but it will change how the race is bet. Forte is a mid-pack horse. He doesn't like to run on the lead or from the back. So it would be one thing if it was a speed horse and he was the only speed horse in the race, and now you don't have anybody to set the pace. Forte was kind of going to be in the middle of the pack anyway, so it's not going to affect how it's run. However, he was a 3-1 favorite on the morning line on Monday. Now all of that money will be going to Tapit Trice's stablemate, Angel of Empire, and Dermasota Gake, as well as others. So, as a matter of fact, on last night, based on the Oaks Derby will pay, so the Oaks Derby double is a bet that you can make connecting the winner of the Oaks and the winner of the Derby. And since that first race has already been run, we can see how the payouts will be depending on which horse wins the Derby. And based on those payouts, we see that Angel of Empire has surpassed Tapit Trice as what was then the second choice behind Forte in the payouts. Now with Forte out, it's very likely that your Kentucky Derby favorite will be Arkansas Derby winner Angel of Empire. And of course, it won't be Forte. It's probably going to be close between Angel of Empire and Tapit Trice coming down to the wire.
Yeah, Tapit Trice at 5-1, Angel of Empire sitting at 8-1 as we talk about the scratching of Forte from the 149th running of the Kentucky Derby later today. Gene, with everything that's happened at Churchill Downs this week, we've had the horse deaths that have occurred. Now we have the 5 scratches. What kind of a shadow does this cast as the Triple Crown moves forward? I mean, this is the first leg. We've got 2 more legs to come.
You know, I don't think that it's going to reflect poorly on the sport moving forward. It might actually improve the image of the sport that they're looking after the safety of the horse. I think when it comes down to it, once the starting gate opens today, there will be 18 horses in the race. This is the fewest number of horses since 2015 after the 5 scratches, and we haven't had 5 scratches in the Kentucky Derby since 1936. But once the starting gate opens today, I think you'll have fans more interested in what's going to happen moving forward in the Preakness. The winner of the Derby will come back in the Preakness, and then, of course, you got the Belmont down the line. And, Forte, the injury seems to be minor, and I'm obviously speculating a little bit here, but the connections of the horse were planning to run today. So obviously it wasn't something that they thought was significant, or else they would have pulled out of the race earlier. So there is a very good possibility. Maybe he comes back in the Preakness. I know trainer Todd Pletcher does not like coming back in the Preakness or running in the Preakness, but now that Forte is not in the Derby, maybe he comes back in the Preakness, or perhaps he comes back in the Belmont. And the Belmont actually seems to be a race that would be really set up for his running style. So I think you're going to see Forte moving forward at some point.
Well, and an abundance of caution, certainly not a bad thing. Sportsline horse racing analyst Gene Menez joining us here to discuss Forte being scratched from the 149th running of the Kentucky Derby. Thanks very much, Gene. Gene's going to join us at noon Eastern time as well as we take a deeper look into how to wager this ever-changing field of the Kentucky Derby as we take a look at the updated post positions. You see the scratches there: Skinner, Practical Move, Forte this morning, Lord Miles, and Continuar. That means that Cyclone Mischief, Mandarin Hero, and King Russell, the 3 reserve horses, are now part of the field. The field now trimmed to 18 horses. The 149th Run for the Roses, post time 6:57 Eastern time, Saturday afternoon.